Don't you just hate no-shows? Here at ResDiary HQ, we have just the solutions you need. I'm Mally, and this morning we're talking to our expert Andy about how to prevent no-shows. From taking card details at booking to making it easier for customers to cancel. We'll cover all the options and help you find the right solution for your venue. We'll also be taking your questions live. Add your questions to the chat box below this video and we'll answer them all. So if there's anything you want to know about the diary, now's the time to ask. Hi, thank you for joining us once again, Andy.
Thank you very much for having me.
So a lot of our customers, as we get into this festive period, they're quite concerned about no-shows. So I was wondering if you'd be able to tell us, Andy, what exactly is a no-show?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Mally. Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. Now, the thing for me, no-shows are a huge part of our industry and obviously a massive talking point. Now, no-shows for me are obviously people that decide to make a booking in your venue and then not turn up. Now, that obviously is on the night, but also for me, a big thing about it as well is late cancellations. Now, every venue has their own kind of idea of what a late cancellation is. Might be, on the lunchtime for dinner time, for example. It might be the night before for the next morning. But late cancellations, I think, really are a big part of it that affects your business as well.
And in your opinion, what are the main causes of these? Why do people have this attitude towards not showing up for these?
Well, obviously, we're now in the 21st century as well. The way that restaurants have are starting to take reservations and how they're all working has changed dramatically as well. A lot of people like to have less kind of personal contact with the venues that they're actually booking into. They want to book with ease, and at the same time as they feel as if they don't understand the link between their reservation and how valuable it is to a business. Yeah. That's a huge factor in it, I think.
And so what do you think venues can do in this day and age to combat this no-show culture almost?
Well, good thing is with ResDiary there are a lot of features within it that will be able to help, but the big thing for me is that we make it as easy as we can for customers to make a booking. We also need to make it easier for them to be able to confirm, cancel, or even move the booking to a future date as well. But giving them the ability not just for letting you know exactly what you need to do for the booking makes it really crucial for them.
Now remember, today's not just about no-shows. If you've got any questions at all about your diary, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat box below and we will tackle them at the Q&A at the end. So Andy, in regards to preventing no-shows, what can our customers actively do to combat this issue?
Okay, so within the diary, and within your ResDiary system, the big thing for me is taking card details. Now, for me, what that's doing is you're giving the customer the kind of accountability for making the booking as well. You're also confirming and protecting yourself as well to make sure that a customer is booking and coming. And also letting the customer know the reasons kind of why, if they do decide to no-show, how it can affect your business as well.
And Christmas is obviously fast approaching. How easy is it to get this set up?
Very easy. So we partner with a company called Stripe, so that's our payment gateway provider. Now, it's free to set up and link the account. It takes 10 minutes to set up.
Oh, wow.
It takes about 5 minutes to link to your ResDiary account. Then from there, it's a matter of how you want to set it up. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Some venues want to take different party sizes. They want to take different kind of situations. They want to take maybe card details or deposits. Looking at Christmas as well, you might want to take deposit for every single booking on Christmas Day, but on maybe the 27th onwards to the 31st, you might not want to do that. So it can be set up however you want.
So it's fully flexible in a way.
Fully flexible, and at the same time as our ResDiary support team are always here at hand if you need help.
Now, would you be able to show us exactly how this would work on the ResDiary?
Yep. Now my account is already linked within the diary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in to my diary. Now, I've actually linked the account. As I said, it takes a couple of minutes to get set up and linked activated. Now, when I go into my settings page, we've got this section here, which is your payment section. Okay, now I want to set it up so I take card details for a certain amount of covers.
Yep.
And when you go into your payment settings, you will have some choices here. Now, I edit my credit cards. Now, card details at the top here are required for parties larger than 2. Now, that's not 2 covers. That's 3 and above. So
Okay.
that's a little setting there. But then I can also decide whether or not to take card details for all online reservations and internally as well. but I also know that I want to have the flexibility within my system for my staff. I can also let our staff members skip these internal bookings as well.
So we can almost enforce it for bookings online where we don't really know the customer, but then internally when bookings are made, we're safe, we can choose to avoid taking that payment.
Definitely, we understand that we are very flexible, but there will be those odd times where you know the customer, or they might not feel comfortable, for example, giving those card details. That's where they let the manager have their information about the venue. They know the venue well enough, they know the kind of customers, and they can make the call as well.
So I'm imagining the Stripe that you were talking about is fully PCI compliant.
100% fully PCI compliant.
However, there's still going to be people that are almost going to be uncomfortable providing all that card information over the phone.
Yep.
Is there a way that we can, people that don't almost want to make a booking online, or even if you've got your maximum party size set up to 6, how do I encourage them to provide card details if they're not happy to do so over the phone, understandably?
Yep, I understand with the way it is at the moment, a lot of people are scared about credit card fraud and things like that. So as I said, we're fully 100% PCI compliant, but what we can actually do is send out, within internal the diary, send out an actual email asking for customers for credit card details on a secure page.
Oh wow.
So if you want, I can show you now.
Yeah,
Yep.
that would be absolutely fantastic.
So I'm going to go to my diary. Now, I'm going to make a booking for later in the week. Now, I understand that, as I said, some people don't want to give card details or don't feel comfortable over the phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a booking for 2 people, and I'm going to make it for, I'll make it just down here. Now, I'm going to ask for 3 people.
Because you've got your payment requirement set to...
Exactly that. And now I'm going to pop in the customer's details. Now I'm taking an email address here. That is actually required. I've actually turned off the fact I don't need a phone number. Stripe, they call it the Stripe landing page, the Stripe gateway only works with an email address. Now when I press complete, it will take me to the payment page. Now, as you can see, there's no information in about a deposit. This is asking the customer for card details. Now, if you did want to take card details there and then, you can untoggle the Stripe button and add the cards. But as we've said, some people don't feel comfortable with that. Now, it will give you a little bit of information about what's been said to the customer. So if you want to pass that on and how to say to the customer. Now, when I press complete, I will get a booking onto my diary. And you can see there's a little orange kind of symbol there. Now, that means that this booking is asked for card details. And we're basically waiting for them back.
You've got a variety of different logos here. You've got a red card and an orange card. What do they all represent?
So, good thing is about the diary as well, we understand a lot of logos and a lot of little symbols in the diary mean a lot of things. If anyone's ever struggling or doesn't understand, just press the L button on your diary, and this will actually give you every single icon what they mean.
So we've got the card details requested there is the one that for your booking.
Yeah, so these 3 are for your card details here. Card details skipped, orange, red and green. And then for deposits, it's a little money bag as well.
That's great. So, customer side, what did that request for the card details look like? Okay,
so this is my email that I send out to myself. Now, I understand as well that everyone's got different branding. People want to have, their wording and their style. Those emails can be fully customizable.
Perfect.
Now, it's asking me, a booking has been provisionally made. Now, the customer does not get a confirmation email at this point. It's asking for more information. And it's also giving me a timer as well. Now this timer is actually something set that you set within your venue. Now it's actually taking me to the landing page that I've got set up. Now it's asking me to fill in these details and it gives me how long I've got to do it. Now I get that email sent out at the time of making the booking, and then 1 hour before the booking is going to be
So
expired.
there is a reminder.
Yeah, give that little nudge to the customer to let them know. You get a little bit of information about the booking as well, and the good thing is I get my terms and conditions here as well.
And those are fully customisable as well?
Exactly that, yeah. Now, you have to accept them, because obviously this is a little bit of the idea of you're saying I understand the penalties, or the kind of idea of what happens if you don't make the booking.
So storing card details, we would encourage our customers to supply, to be able to be aware that there is going to be a cancellation fee per head. So in the terms and conditions, it's where we put that information?
Yeah, definitely that. And I can show you that as well. So when I go to submit the card details,
it would then translate straight to the diary, I would imagine.
Yep, so it's asking me for the card details. Now, I've obviously got a test account here, so for anyone watching, you can try this card, but you're not going to get any money. Now, this has confirmed it. So it says that it's taken those details and it's all been submitted as well. So you will get told. Now obviously this gives you all the information that you need. Now when I go back to my diary and I refresh my page, you see that that's now got a little green symbol as well there now. So I know straight away that that's definitely been paid, or the card details have been stored, and then I can move on with my day.
That's great. So what happens, I'm assuming upon this turning green, as opposed to the provisional booking email, the guest would receive now a booking confirmation email.
Yep.
So they know their booking is secure.
Yep.
What happens when that countdown reaches the end and the guest hasn't supplied their card details?
So they'll get an email, and it can obviously, again, the wording can be tailored to your venue. And it basically says, you know, unfortunately the terms that we've asked for have not been reached, we've had to cancel the reservation.
So
now it removes it from the diary. I would say it's been removed because it's never been a confirmed booking. It's been a kind of provisional booking that's been removed from the diary. And it doesn't go anywhere. It's not as if it's hidden anywhere. If you go onto your dashboard, all the bookings that have been made incomplete get shown at the bottom of your dashboard here.
Oh, great.
And you'll be able to see the information that you've got. And then if you need to reset them, you can reset them as well.
That's tremendous. So what about our smaller venues who have regular repeat customers, and they've never ever introduced the requirement for payment details before? Surely this is going to be an issue. As you mentioned on the payment settings page, we can bypass this. Can every user bypass the need to take card details?
As long as you've got your setup for every single kind of user can be fully tailored for every single person or different kind of tier of customers as well, so they can decide whether or not you decide the access the customer has, but also you can set it up so that, for example, VIPs are automatically skipped. We understand that you've had regulars there for 2, 3, 4 years who book online all the time, and then they have to start phoning you to bypass it. Make them a VIP, and then they'll skip that automatically.
So when you're made a VIP, even when you're booking online, it'll remember your information, so it'll bypass.
Yeah, as long as that setting is turned on, the customer won't even see a page saying they've been bypassed. It's as if it never existed.
So a busy Saturday night in December has arrived, booking of 10, card details stored, we're operating a cancellation policy of £5 per head, they've not turned up. Does the diary automatically charge that card and cancel the booking?
No, it doesn't automatically do it, because at the same time as we've had in the past, people cancel bookings by accident as well. And we don't want to have that sticky situation where you reset the booking on the diary, for example, they turn up and they've had £50 taken off their card.
Of course.
So it's up to the venue as well. Now, it doesn't automatically do it, but I can show you how to charge a card if you want.
Yeah, if you could show us a manual charge, that would be great.
Now, this is all down to the access that the person has in the venue again as well. So I can see that I've got card details stored for this booking here. Now, if I cancelled it automatically, no charges happen. Nothing happens at all.
It's just going to remove it from the diary?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the best procedure here is to then go into your payment section. Now, I've got the card stored, then I can charge it. Now, this will show all the information that only you see about the card. I say fully PCI compliant, and then you can choose the amount to charge them. So we're going to charge them 50. Now what this will do is this will go, make sure it takes the money from the card, and then it puts it into the Stripe account, and then obviously Stripe will process that payment. You will get a little kind of confirmation here saying payment successful, and then I save it. Now that will change to a little bag to show that money's been taken, and then that's when I cancel the booking. And I'm going to charge it a no-show, and I'm going to send the customer an email as well.
So you've got quite a few cancellation reasons there. Surely that could be confusing to some users, some staff members. Is there a way to manage these reasons, make sure that they're tailored specifically for the venue?
Yep, so when your diary's built, it will come with some pre-packaged cancellation reasons in it. Now, we understand that they're not working for every single venue. Some venues might have bespoke reasons, being in remote areas, with the weather being a factor, things like that. So you can create whatever reasons you want in your system to track as well. And the good thing is if people are cancelling online, you can actually set it up so that they can give a reason why as well.
And this is fully reportable. I'm thinking of our venues, up in the north of Scotland that heavily get snow over the winter. They're able to track back exactly how many of their bookings they lost due to this personalised bad weather cancellation reason.
Yeah, and the good thing is as well, you can tailor it as well, because some people might have cancelled the booking today, for example. I had a reason in my diary that said wish to come at a later date, wanted to cancel today, so that you know that they actually do want to come back, but they decided today just to make sure that they don't want the booking.
That also gives you then the ability to contact them and ask them to reschedule the booking as well.
Exactly, yeah.
That's great. So, in regards to regular customers, and say the venues do decide they do want to enforce card details, to avoid the whole nasty situation of angry guests not really understanding that they have to pay a cancellation fee, how do we make it clear to them that there is a cancellation fee?
Okay, so as I said, the cancellation fee that we have is totally up to the venue, okay? Although it is there on the system saying that this will happen, as I said, it doesn't automatically happen, so you're giving the customer the idea that this can happen. We're trying to promote not them to cancel the booking, but to let you know within enough time to edit the booking, to move it to a different time, but also if they do want to cancel, give you enough days in the past so that you can actually resell that table, which I think is a crucial thing as well. So in the settings that we have in the diary, if I scroll down to my terms and conditions here, this is where I can add in my terms and conditions.
Those are the ones that we saw earlier when you...
Yeah. Now, these will pull through to your widget straight away, and also in the confirmation email, we can pop those T's and C's in there as well if you want.
Great. And now, for our venues that are thinking of becoming potential first-time payment users, please feel free to ask any additional questions about anything that we've not covered in the chat box below, and we will get to them at the end. So, we're going to have customers that definitely don't want to go down the route of payments, deposits, card details. What do you recommend they do to target no-shows?
So understand that it's not for every single venue. Some owners think that it may be a barrier to entry for their customers. Their customers might be of a clientele that don't really understand the whole concept, or that they're just not going to go for it. In that instance, I always say card details is the way forward to guarantee as best you can. But this ResDiary system has a number of different ways that we can kind of mitigate some of that. To let people know, you let them know you're coming. It's not just that the card details that you're taking. It says your notifications and the communication with the customer to make sure that they are coming is key from there.
Yeah. And you're emphasising, the reminder emails. So is there a way that we can almost encourage the staff to take email addresses or even just phone numbers within the diary?
Yeah, now email addresses for me is always the paramount medium for me, because the customer will get the confirmation email with all the information in it. The ability, any ideas how they want to edit the booking or cancel the booking are all in there as well, which means less phone calls for the venue.
Absolutely.
Also, they get the reminder email asking them what they want to do with the booking. Now, with that, that's where emails can become key. I understand in busy venues it might not be the best practice all the time for taking email addresses. It's loud, it's really busy. Sometimes people think that it does take time. Taking phone numbers, as long as we take one form of communication from the customer, that's key.
So you're stating there as well, venues are sometimes too busy to take emails, but phone numbers, people do tend to do so. Is there maybe a way that we can communicate reminders, confirmations to guests via text?
Yep, so I know myself, when I'm on the bus, for example, coming into work, I'm checking my phone. Yep. Everyone has a phone these days. So we have an integration with a company called Silver Street, which means you can send out SMS messaging to the customers and giving some of that information, that flexibility to modify or cancel the reservation as well.
So at the end of the day, when we're assessing these late cancellations, the most important thing is on the day, isn't it? Who's coming, who's not?
Yeah.
Is there a way on the diary that I can really see who's going to be attending this evening, or do I have to pull a report? Is it quite a lengthy and comfortable process?
No, you can pull reports, but obviously that isn't visually clear for the people on the floor, the maitre d', the manager on duty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one of my test diaries that I've got. Now I understand here that we have all these bookings for today. Okay, now I believe it was Thursday or Friday I set it up. Yeah, so Friday, everything's in blue. Now that doesn't really mean much to me in terms of the bookings, who's confirmed, who hasn't. Now the tick box does mean that a customer has confirmed, but I understand on a busy Friday, Saturday night when you're chock-a-block, you won't see that really clearly. The arrival status button just up here is a really clear way to see that. Now when I click on it, and I click the confirmation button here, this will then break it down into 3 different colours. So the bookings that are confirmed are in orange, the bookings that haven't confirmed are in blue, and if one of the team has attempted to contact the customer, be it by the phone, be that kind of idea, it will look as if it's in grey.
So if we've got 2 or 3 front of house staff, at least they can track almost which members of the, well, if anyone's been in touch to try and contact them. That's great. And going back to what you said right at the start that I found very interesting, making it just as easy to cancel as it is to make the booking. How is that done?
So as I said, the email address that we get from a customer is first point. So they get the reminder email sent out, but it can work in tandem with SMS messages as well. Now within the diary, what I did at the venue that I ran was I sent the customer the confirmation when they book. So they get it, they know all the details there. Then 2 days before the booking, I actually had it set up so that the customer got sent an email asking them to confirm. Now, in my notification settings, just down here, now I set it up for 2 days before. Now it's set up here as 0. This is obviously not my diary. This was set up at 0 before. So, but if then I haven't confirmed from that, I've got a setting here so that if they don't confirm by email within 2 hours, they get sent a text.
Right.
Then that text will actually ask them if they want to confirm or cancel. And then, like I said, the day before, whatever you're doing, that's when you can decide whether or not you phone them to confirm as well.
So I can confirm and cancel directly from my text?
Yes.
Oh, that's great, that's great. Thank you, Andy, so much for that. That was really interesting. And thanks to you all for turning up to watch us today. It would have been terrible if you would have all no-showed. Now, Andy will be back for an open Q&A session in just a little while. So if you've got any further questions about the diary, please pop them into the chat box below. However, before we get to these questions, our Kirsty here from ResDiary HQ has a quick overview of some of the things that we've talked about this morning.
Hi, I'm Kirsty from ResDiary. No-shows are a problem for everyone in the industry, and we have some solutions that can help you dramatically reduce your no-shows. It's important to realise that cancellations happen, and making it easier for your customers to cancel will give you opportunity to resell the table later. Set up cancellation reasons in your diary so you can track and report cancellations, and you'll be able to identify any patterns. As a first step, we could recommend taking card details or deposits at booking. This is effective in dissuading no-shows, and there are full instructions in the taking card details and setting up deposit films. If you don't want to take card details, how you contact your customers can encourage them to either commit to their bookings or cancel in a way that allows you to resell that booking. We recommend a funneled approach, starting with a booking confirmation email including customisable options to edit or cancel the reservation. This is sent again closer to the booking. If the customer still doesn't respond, an SMS message is sent asking them to confirm. With this approach, you are giving your guests 3 chances to respond. At the start of the day, you can use the View Manager to check your unconfirmed bookings so you can contact the customer directly. Emails and SMS templates are fully customisable, as is when they are sent, giving you full control. If you want additional support setting up reminder messages on your diary, raise a ticket and we'll help you through the process. For more guides to ResDiary features, click the ResDiary logo to subscribe. For in-diary support, click the Help button. The knowledge base has a range of support and step-by-step guides that can help. Or you can contact us by raising a ticket and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much for staying with us. There are loads of great films on our YouTube channel, from how-to guides, hints and tips, and live streams like this one. So please subscribe to stay up with all of our content. Now it is time for some of our questions. So let me see, Andy. The first one here comes from Joe. So Joe says, we use Tavalis as our EPOS. Would Tavalis draw the deposit information automatically onto the till when we open the table, or would we need to do all this manually?
Well, great question, Joe. Thanks for sending that in. The Tavalis EPOS system, when you open it up and cash it off, the deposit will pull down into your diary. The deposit type will be ResDiary, but obviously that will take the deposit off the bill at the end. So if you've got £100 bill, for example, and £50 deposit, it will put it as a tender as £50.
And another question actually from Joe as well. Are the card details certified by Stripe, or can the customer add random card details as you did earlier when you were showing us your little pretend booking?
Okay, so I was in a test mode, so I was using a test account which has a certain card number there. Now, when the booking is being made and the customer is putting in their card details, they will be checked to see if they're valid and the expiry date is not out of place at the time. But yeah, so the Stripe will certify those card details to make sure they are valid. So I couldn't, in kind of live mode, put in those numbers I put in, and it wouldn't have worked. It would actually told me that they're not valid.
So if a customer puts in a card details of an expired card or a card with no balance in it, Stripe would be aware of this and wouldn't let them almost submit that card?
So if the actual card, the expiry date has passed, it will not actually be letting them, it won't certify it.
Perfect. So I've got a question here from Tim who's asking, what's the point of taking card details? Does ResDiary take an X amount of money from no-shows?
Okay, so the actual, for me the biggest thing is it's the taking card details for a customer. I don't want to charge my customers for no-showing. The big thing is I want to give them the ability to let them know, give me enough time to resell the table. I think that's the crucial bit. We haven't had it where certain people, they do get a little bit antsy about when they do get charged for no-shows. They said they called. I understand that as well. It's making sure you educate the customer knowing that we value your business. But if you don't want to come, if you can give us enough time to resell the table, we'd be more than happy. It's not a vicious thing. I don't think it has to be that kind of combative. It's a partnership with the customer as well. Stripe do take a little bit of a fee off of that payment, but at the same time it's for the fee for only when you take actual physical money from the customer. Storing card details is free of charge. So
it's only going to be when you implement a cancellation fee or take deposits that it's the
exactly that. Yeah.
So I've got a question here from Carrie Ann. Are no-shows always manually charged, or can we have this set up so that they're charged automatically?
So, Karen, thanks very much. The card details are always manually charged. The reason why is that, during a busy service, some things happen. You might have forgotten to set a table, for example, or you've moved a booking to a different day, or a number of things that can happen. We understand that happens in service. Now, you wouldn't want to be sitting at the table and then realise you've had £150 taken out of your account. It would really leave you with a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
not only that, you would have to probably refund that money to the customer, and then you probably have to pay them a little bit to kind of gloss over that mistake you had. Mistakes do happen in venues, so we make sure that it's a manual process because we want the restaurateurs and the manager on duty to make the call whether or not they do charge it or not.
So more control internally.
Exactly, yeah.
So there was a question here from Joelle. Does the ResDiary check if the credit card is valid? Hopefully we did answer that one for you previously. And I've got another question here. What happens if a customer cancels their card once they've already submitted those card details?
So that is a little bit of a tricky one there. So taking your card details, it does check if the card is valid at the time. Now, obviously, if that card does in the end kind of become invalid, unfortunately you can't actually charge them because they can't take any money. That's where we always suggest on that side, taking deposits, money over the counter from the customer is the guarantee.
And another interesting question here. What's the average no-show rate? Now that is quite a vague one. Could you maybe give us a quick experience from yourself over a busy festive period?
Yep, so the actual no-show rate obviously is different on different styles of venue. I mean, if I'm a Michelin star venue, the no-show rate or the late cancellation rate is a lot lower than, for example, a venue on the high street, which is a bit more fast-paced casual dining. My venue, I was probably averaging out about 45 to 50 covers a week at the weekends.
Wow.
No showing late cancellations. Now, I brought in credit card details and I brought in for up to 6, and then 7 above I asked for money for a deposit. Now that did drop down to about a lot less than that, probably maybe 15 to 20.
Wow.
But even within that, I got a lot more bookings actually wanting to move their reservation or letting me know that they can't make it tonight, they'll be in for tomorrow lunch. So although I was losing that trade in that night, I was actually gaining them at a different time.
That's remarkable change in percentage as well. A question here from James. Can I block customers who no-show often?
Yes. Now this isn't automatic in your ResDiary as well, because obviously we don't assume that the customer, the customer better than that. So what you can do in the diary is, if you find someone that is consistently no-showing, now at the same time you also make sure you have to mark them as a no-show, so that you can understand the data that you're getting is accurate. If your staff are putting them always down as not a no-show, and then they actually do turn up, that's the idea. But you can block a customer from booking within your venue. Now, if they do phone up, when you actually go to book them, it will flag that they're a blocked customer, and then you can choose to unblock them or keep them blocked depending on what you want to do. But that's obviously your access rights for managers and owners. I wouldn't give that to your staff.
Absolutely. So Jason Adams has a question here. Apart from taking credit card details, are there other ways of stopping no-shows through ResDiary? He states that his no-show rate is around 20%, particularly on Saturday nights.
So I'd love to have a little chat with you obviously later on as well about the procedures that you have in place. Every venue is different. Saturday nights, definitely for me, if that's happening with you, taking credit card details and deposits, but also is working with Stripe, working with Silver Street and sending out bespoke SMSs beforehand, and then on the morning giving them a call. The venue that I ran, I gave them a call on the day, and I gave them, if it went to voicemail, I would say, guys, if I don't hear from you by X amount of time, I may have to give your table away. That is obviously a little bit more from the other side, but I'm protecting my business as well.
And I guess you could also, you did mention earlier that the emails were fully customisable. If you're a venue on Saturday nights that would like to implement calling, I can pop that in my email confirmation. Please note, we will require verbal confirmation of your attendance on the day of the booking. Otherwise, so that if those bookings do turn up and they've chosen to ignore your calls, you've got a leg to stand on almost.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving the customer, with our confirmation email, the reminder email, a reminder text, you've already given them 3 points of contact. Yeah. And then you can obviously call them the next day. Now, I chose to call maybe 3 times, and it was a 3 strikes and you're out policy. But obviously, if they did turn up, I would always make sure I had something there for them, or if it was a table of 8, for example, I would probably keep them there. If it was a table of 2, I can move some things around, send them to the bar for a drink, a table will be ready in 15 minutes. That's where the restaurateurs really come into their own and work the venue for the evening.
A really interesting follow-up question from Carrie Ann's original question. When you block a customer, are they able to create new profiles to book again?
So yeah, unfortunately, I'm Andrew Robinson, but if I'm Andy Robinson, then the customer will obviously be as a new diner.
But the customer isn't informed that they're blocked, are they?
No. So they're just told that please contact the venue. Now, if they do book via ResDiary.com, they have to actually create a user profile, and that will be tracked.
I've got a question here from Viviana. Is the SMS confirmation system linked to the automated ResDiary?
Yes, so there is a little bit of a fee for the integration, but once it's in, we set up the text how you want to send them out. Obviously, you can have the name of your venue as the actual text, up to 11 characters, so sometimes there's a little bit of
drop all your vowels.
Drop all your vowels, effectively, yeah. And then with that, any of the confirmations or cancellations or modifications the customer makes automatically updates to the actual booking that's made.
I've got a question from Jason here. Some guests have told me they book several restaurants in advance and then decide on the night.
Yeah, that is something that I hate within the hospitality industry, where they'll book 6 weeks in advance 5 venues. Now, I understand that in that instance, if they're actually telling you they do that, I would be taking card details from them straight away.
Absolutely. James is asking, what would be the one thing you'd recommend doing? What do you find most effective? I've heard you say the word credit card details numerous times, so I'm assuming that's going to be the answer here.
Take deposits.
Deposits?
Credit card details is that guarantee. If someone is really committed to want to come to your venue for these larger parties, remember, you're protecting your business. The deposit. Now, the deposit, you can decide whether or not, if the no-show, that you keep it, whether you refund it. It can be non-refundable within a certain amount of time. But obviously, if I've got £50 that's sitting there that I I want to use it, so I'll try and remove my booking to a different date if I have to.
And also, at the end of the day, this deposit, you know, if you've got the commitment to attend this venue, you're going to turn up, aren't you?
Yeah.
It shouldn't really deter you. It shouldn't really be a barrier to entry.
For large parties where it comes to the idea where one person may have to pay £150 deposit, not everyone has that money lying around. That's where Stripe landing page comes in. You give the customer a couple of days to get all their friends together, get all the money, and then they can obviously pay for it.
Now, I've got an interesting question here from Katie, who's saying, how easy is it to pull the cancellation report of these no-shows?
Perfect. So we actually got a new cancellation report that's just been added to the diary. Everyone will have access to it at the moment. It is in beta, so you can't export the actual report yet, but I can show you it now if you want.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if you could give us a quick...
So in my diary, I've got my report section. Now, we do have the new cancellation report here. Now, the good thing is that unlike our old reports, you can actually save this report. So every Monday when you're pulling your reports for the previous week, you click on the report again and you can just actually generate it and see what your reasons are. So I'll choose all the venues in my group and I'll do it for...
Oh, so there's a date range, so I could just choose the weekend if that's all I really cared about.
Yep, yeah, exactly that. So you can choose a date range last week. You can also choose a number of specific days in the past, for example.
Oh, wow.
But not only that, you can then add filters. So I can say the cancellation reason, and I can actually choose the different cancellation reasons. Or, when I run that report, this actually gives me, this is my summary of all the different bookings that I have in cancellations. But then, as I said, I can actually group it via...
You've got an edit the columns you see here, so I can actually make that fully customizable as well to the information that I want to see.
Yep, so I can add in information and take it away. So I can actually say how many block customers, percentage of advanced bookings and walk-ins that have cancelled. But here it actually gives me a breakdown of all the different reasons for Saturday night. Now I can break that down into venues as well. And I've also got the ability to see individual customers' cancellation reasons as well.
Wow.
That can all be saved, and then at one point in the future you will be able to export that.
Fantastic, that sounds absolutely great. Interesting question here from Jen. Do you track no-shows across ResDiary?
So the actual customer data that you have is yours. So at the same time as we obviously can track within your venue the actual cancelled data. It's something I would love to see, to give you some statistics about the percentages of cancellations and no-shows over a full estate. At the same time as though every venue has their own bespoke cancellation reasons. Mm-hmm. Some venues, like you said, Mally, some people just put illness for everyone. So if our venues aren't even reporting on the statistics that are correct themselves, then obviously from that point of view as well, it may be really hard. But it is something we would look into maybe.
And the GDPR as well.
Yeah,
that would
exactly,
obviously be a factor in that. Interesting. And another interesting question from Zopash here. Is there a dedicated no-shows report within the diary?
Yes, there is. So like we said, some of these cancellation reasons you have aren't actually no-show reasons. Okay, these are just cancellations such as illness, which we keep coming back to. Something like someone's had a family emergency. They're not really no-shows. But the actual fact that someone, after the fact, has not turned up, mm-hmm. You've phoned them, you've emailed them, and they're a no-show, you can pull them in that cancellation report, and we also do have our no-show report as well. It is a little bit older, so I suggest for everyone that we use this cancellation report, and you can actually choose the cancellation reasons that you have as no-shows. And then when you're able to filter that, that's when you can actually you can see all your no-shows.
An interesting question from Viviana once again. Is there an automated option that would cancel a booking that's not been confirmed?
No, there's not in terms of that booking, because we also want to give the venue the ability to make that call. Stripe landing page works with that because the booking hasn't actually been confirmed, it's been made provisionally. So that's the step beforehand. But if a booking's been made on the diary, with the confirmation email, the cancellation email, the reminder texts and emails, and then obviously you being able to contact the venue, we want you to make the call. There'll be that one time where a VIP hasn't confirmed if they were automatically cancelled. and they got an email, or it was the owner's friends, for example, that kind of idea,
Absolutely.
it does make it look a little bit harder for what you're doing as well.
A question from Fred here. Is the no-show rate, in your experience, higher on online bookings than it is on internal bookings?
I actually find that so for that, I'd probably say it's two parts there. The ability for confirmed bookings is higher online that I've found. Because when staff are taking the data, they don't take an email address or a phone number internally. I found that that's got a higher no-show rate in my experience, because there's no way for you to contact the venue, the diner. A lot of people will maybe take a phone number that is incorrect, that haven't actually popped in the correct information, and then what they'll do is they'll just hope that they turn up on the day, and they can't actually phone them or email them or anything.
Thank you so much for all that interesting information, Andy. That's all we have time for today. We hope we gave you some useful answers, and thank you once again to our experts here for answering all those queries that came in. We'll be back next month for some more live help, and remember to hit the subscribe button for ResDiary content, and if you need any help with your diary at all, raise a ticket and one of our support team will be on hand to help you.